Are we going to do this? Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special bonus episode of Trip Smoke Pit tonight with fucking Dave. We are both too drunk to fuck. And before we go anywhere, I want to serenade you with a song.
Okay.
Can I serenade you with a song?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to serenade you with a song. This is a song from our childhood. Wait, that's not right. She's in a wheelchair and I don't care 'cause she's a babe. Yeah. She's in a wheelchair and I don't care 'cause I'm a slave. Yeah. She snapped her high heels, and now she's got four wheels. She's in a wheelchair, and I don't care 'cause she's a babe. Yeah, she's in a wheelchair, and I don't care 'cause I'm a slave. Yeah. She says that my love is wrong. She won't let me sing this song. But I just can't fight all this love that I feel because I love pushing from behind the wheels. She's in a wheelchair. Cause she's a babe. Yeah, she's in a wheelchair, and I don't care 'cause I'm a slave. Yeah. She left me alone, and I'm feeling so lonely without her.
B3TA.
Old B3TA. Beta.com. Actually, beta.co.uk. That fucking fuck you. I want an elephant.
Yeah, that was like people don't realize
there was an internet before YouTube.
Yeah, there's an internet before YouTube, Facebook, and B3TA, Newgrounds, E-Bombs World. That's like anybody that's kind of associated with meme culture.
Started off way back when.
Started off with that stuff, for sure.
Yeah, so people at home, this whole thing fucking started because I've had Dave on my fucking podcast before, and we're fucking talking about whatever, and we did the whole what I normally do, where it's kind of like a Zoom call where we're just talking bullshit and shit. But also fucking me and Dave have been friends since 13, 14 years
grade.
old.
I remember you came from Florida to Ohio in 8th grade, and I was like, this kid's pretty cool. I was like,
yeah, we go way back when, but I was like, hey, dude, you want to come back on my fucking podcast again? He's like, nah, fuck you. I'm just going to come to your house. He's like, all right, fuck it. We'll fucking one camera this shit, see what's up. But I originally wanted to bring you on to talk about lizard people, and I don't remember what the fucking context was.
So you were trying to tell me you've been hearing a lot of this stuff, lizard people are ruling the world and things like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of dynamics of power. And essentially how the whole power structure is it's multifaceted. There's not just one Illuminati that control, there's not one they, as they say, that controls
there's a few they thems.
Yeah, exactly. There's a few they thems. One thing you do, you see the Wall Street elite, you see the, private equity, you see, these guys that are becoming billionaires because they are able to basically flip financial transactions.
Right.
And so those people hold a hell of a lot of power. In fact, 2008 was a hit job,
Well, what do you mean 2008 was a hit job?
Well, because people don't realize this when so you know, and I've said this on your podcast, and I've said this like on Johnny's podcast and stuff like before. Like, there's a executive, and they called him the Gorilla. His name was Dick Folt. Like
his name was Dick Folt.
His
like fucking like uncircumcised,
like Dick
dirty
Folt.
heathen Dick Folt.
Yeah, like his name was Richard Fold, Fuld. He was the CEO of Lehman Brothers.
Okay.
He called them the Gorilla because like he would command a room. Like this guy was legend on the street. And like what ended up happening was he made a lot of enemies.
Yeah.
And so what they did was they basically, when they went to push like the TARP bailout for like all the banks and stuff, they killed Lehman Brothers like on purpose. Like they shorted the stock and like they knew that they were at risk with all these so like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they all like teamed up through hedge funds, basically killed Lehman. And, you know, then they go to Congress and say, you know, Lehman was one of our largest investment banks. They're fucking dead. So, you know, if you don't pass this $700 billion tax bailout to bail out these banks, we're going, like, the economy's going under. You're going to have to declare martial law. Like, shit's going to hit the fan because, like, people aren't going to be able to get, like, their essential banking needs. They're not going to be able to buy food and things like that.
Right.
So, like, they pushed, like, this horror story, but they, like, killed Lehman to, like, really push it through. So, you know, you have all these, like, different dynamics and power. And so you got your Wall Street elite. Then you have, you know, like that whole deep state. And, like, what is the deep state? So, like, you have, like...
And anything Hillary Clinton's got her fingers in.
You know, so, yeah, like, there's, like, the whole Hillary, you know, the Clinton body count and things like that. But essentially, like, what the deep state is like, these people are the career bureaucrats, you know, and a lot of them aren't even, like, nefarious. You're talking, like, your U.S. Department of Agriculture guys.
They're just there.
They're there.
Trying to grow corn and shit.
Yeah.
Making it fucking fair for the farmers in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So, like, you know, you got these people. They're the real power of government because, like, they're the ones that are putting policies in place that are lasting 30 years and are, you know, continuing. So, like, even if it's not nefarious, now, like, there's some shit in the DOJ and, like, the CIA, like, obviously, like, you know, like, our CIA has overthrown governments. Like, we're not, you know, look at Iran.
Dude,
like
it's something like fucking, like, half the fucking planet we're responsible for their fucking government being in existence right now.
Yeah, so, like, we've
directly or indirectly.
Yeah, so we've done coups and things like that. So you have that whole aspect of, like, the deep state that's been talked about, and, like, a lot of the people in, like, the Trump camp was like, he's going to war against the deep state. Like, there is a deep state. Like, that's not a lie. Like, that's not far-fetched. Now, are they, you know, conducting psyops? I don't know. Like, I don't know that. Like, I know they conduct psyops in other countries. Are they conducting it in our own country?
Well,
How do I know?
There's this thing called the Smith-Mundt Act that made it illegal to conduct psyop on American civilians, but it expired in, like, 2012 or 13. So
and the
whether
Patriot
or not they're
Act,
doing it, it's legal to do as far as
and the Patriot Act
concerned.
legalized a lot of that shit too.
Yeah.
Even in that time period from 2001 to 2012, the Patriot Act gave them, you know, an exemption on a lot of that stuff, and, like, people don't realize that. So there is, like, a deep.
Well, no, and that's the scary thing, though, is, like, you can come up with as many conspiracy theories as you want, and, like, if you don't believe in any conspiracy theories, like, you think the government's, like, straight up, like, bold fucking assumption, but the most nefarious things they do, they trick us into voting for it.
Yeah. You know, like, it's so funny because I remember when the whole shit went down with Oklahoma City, like, if you were called a patriot, that was like, oh, you're trying to overthrow the government. Like, there's these militia, you know, like, there was, because, like, around that time that the Timothy McVeigh shit went down, I don't know if you remember, there was, like, the Montana Freeman.
Yeah.
And like there's like this like local militias in Montana, like they tried to like legitimately overthrow the fucking state government.
It's the same thing now,
Montana.
because like nowadays, if you say you're a patriot, everyone just assumes that you're a fucking Trump supporter and that you were there in DC on was it January 6th?
Yep.
Yeah. So like nowadays, if you love your country, you fucking try to overthrow the government. It's like, dude, like there's this is not a black and white issue. Like at best, we're playing with a pair of dice, you know?
And I mean, and we can go down a long rabbit hole, and we're not going to do that tonight, but like we go down. Could be. So, but like, the government, like, and that's the thing, like, most people love this country. Like,
yeah, if
you're on the left wing, you love this country. If you're on the right wing, you love this country. Because America, we are privileged. Like you gotta understand it. When you're born in the United States of America, you are one of 350 million people out of 7 billion. Divide that
small fucking like percentage.
Divide 350 million by 7.5 billion people, and you will realize you hit the genetic lottery by being born in this country. So like,
and then like I've been all over fucking planet, and like there are some fucking places that are just like badass to fucking be at, but like I would rather be homeless in America than fucking like live in Saudi Arabia.
Poverty in America is a flat screen TV in your house.
Yeah.
Like that's poverty in America. Like most people don't realize that, like how fortunate we are.
But like there's other places where like middle class, like fucking you can make tea. You know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, that's not to say like people aren't patriotic. I think
and like not to say we don't have our problems.
Yeah. We have problems, but like at the end of the day, I feel like the media like tries to get us to hate, so much one another, and that's why like, platforms like yourself here, like on like this,
me and all 6 of my followers. Hi guys, what's up?
But like like your Joe Rogans and like those things, like the podcast medium. Like that's really blowing up because like people are just sick and tired of like the hate and the fighting. And like right now, the media and like what's being funded into the media is like causing this like cold civil war.
Well, that no like straight up like fucking lie about shit. And people like fucking know it. So like I guess for perspective on this, fucking it was 2010, right? I was in Afghanistan. I was in a town called Nowzad. When I was there a year earlier, or 2 years earlier in 2008, fucking with 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines, like we killed everybody. Like the civilian populace left, and everyone there was declared a red target. Like you see somebody walking, green light, fucking shoot them. But when we were there in fucking 2010, fucking like Obama fucking in charge. I remember we were in the command operations fucking center. And we're watching CNN, and Obama's talking about like we're going to into fucking Nowzad, and we're gonna fucking. I'm sorry, was it Nowzad? No, it was Nowzad because it was Operation Cobra's Anger, like not Angry Cobra, but Cobra's Anger, right?
Cobra Kai.
And he's on TV talking about how we're going into this fucking town, fucking everybody up, and you're just like defeating the fucking Taliban, and like I'm in the COC in fucking Nowzad, and I'm looking outside, it's dead quiet. 2 years earlier, we killed everybody there. It was a ghost town, like legitimate fucking ghost town. And then the combat footage they were showing on CNN was from Ramadi in Iraq 5 years before that. And it's like,
of course,
what the fuck is this about? Like when Donald Trump came out and like made like fake news a big thing, it was like, well, anybody with half a brain knows the fucking news is all fucking fake.
I mean, he wasn't lying.
Like it's like, like, dude, it is straight up 1984. We're gonna show you this shit. We've always been at war with these motherfuckers. And it's like,
and like, how I'm not a, I'll fully admit I'm not a Donald Trump supporter by any means, but like he's, I'm one of those people that don't just hate Donald Trump to hate Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Like I can see when he does.
I hate Donald Trump because he's a New York Democrat.
So like. That's the thing. Like
he's a fucking liberal fuck, but
like there's certain things like one, like I look at things through. I try to be as transparent as I can,
right,
and like objective as I can. Like,
and you do some right shit. Like fucking, like Obama would not do anything about ISIS.
Yeah,
and then as soon as Trump came into office, he's like, "All right, hey, listen, I don't know what you fucking military people have to do to get rid of this, but I'm gonna let you guys solve the problems and give the power to the generals. And the generals were like, okay, so what we need to do is this, and this. You want to agree on this? And Trump was like, I don't know what you need to do. Here's my signature. Do this. And then we fucked ISIS into non-existence after that.
Yeah.
And like Trump didn't know what he was doing. He just gave us the green light to do it.
Yeah. And and that's the thing. Like, he was the first president to call out China. China's been screwing us over for decades.
Since the 70s, at the very least.
And like
Jimmy Carter was weak on this.
Now his execution.
Reagan was weak on the Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's another fucking thing. I fucking hate Reagan to fucking death. And like overall, like I would say if there was anything, it'd be libertarian. But like I do lean more to the fucking right. But I fucking goddamn hate fucking Ronald Reagan. Like first off, fucking like, oh yeah, the Black Panthers down in fucking San Francisco, they have guns. We gotta make guns illegal. Well, let's do this assault rifle ban. And then what really pissed me off about Reagan was I don't remember what fucking it wasn't Hezbollah, it was somebody the fuck else, but it was like might as well have been Hezbollah, blew up the fucking Marine barracks in fucking Beirut, killed like 200 Marines, and instead of like invading Lebanon and killing everybody, he's like, no, let's just pull out. It's like, no, you fucking bitch, you go in there, you fucking murder those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna pull out. Yeah, fuck you.
So, like I said, like I'm not a Donald Trump fan.
Yeah.
I think he was more like a false prophet more than anything, but like he did do some good things. But yeah, like he was like 100% on the fake news. Like we were just talking earlier today about like the whole shit with Ron DeSantis in the 60 Minutes.
Make America Florida.
But like, 60 Minutes is supposed to be the crown jewel in the media.
As far as like non-biased, here's the facts.
Yeah. So they come out, with this huge hit piece on Ron DeSantis. And, I don't really have enough to like really form an opinion on Ron DeSantis. Mm-hmm. So there's rumors he may be running in 2024. Don't know.
Listen, I don't give a fuck what his politics are. If his whole goal is make America Florida, I'm in.
For sure. So, essentially what ends up happening is like 60 Minutes comes out with this piece. So quintessentially, backstory short, I'll try to sum it up as fast as I can.
Yeah.
60 Minutes accuses DeSantis of, so in 2018, Ron DeSantis receives a $250,000 campaign contribution from Publix supermarkets in Florida. Publix is like, if anybody that's like watching this from like my followers or whatever, that's like quintessentially the Heinens of Florida. It's like
it's a grocery store place. I want to say it's like South Carolina to Alabama down, and like these people are they have the best hoagies outside of fucking like New Orleans.
Yeah, great supermarket.
But they've also got like superb, like godlike customer service. Like fucking, I remember when I was a kid, fucking we ordered a cake from their fucking bakery, and it ended up being the wrong flavor. Okay. And then like my dad goes back, it's like, hey, listen, fucking here's the receipt. Fucking you gave us the fucking wrong cake. And they're like, wait, you bring the cake back? And they're like, no, we ate it. And they're like, well, you ate it, it was the wrong flavor. Here's your fucking money back. Like no questions asked. Like we're here for you. Like whatever it is, whether it's your fucking libertarian utopia or your socialist utopia, Publix is all about like, listen, the customer comes so much fucking first. We'll take a loss just to make sure you come back here in the fucking future.
Yeah,
so they fucking are it.
So Publix,
but also go buy a fucking turkey sub.
It is. Their
there.
Subs are very good.
It's there.
I've had them in South Carolina. Delicious.
Yeah.
So Publix supermarkets, they send money to Ron DeSantis. Now, since Citizens United, again, I think Citizens United is what is the single-handedly biggest piece that killed democracy in this country, because it basically said that corporations are people have their free and inalienable rights. They can donate to whatever they want. So that's what brought on this whole like pool of dark pool money for like the whole like attack ads, and like that's kind of really what stymied. So Citizens United is like the policy itself is illegal. The policy itself, I think, should be illegal. I should reframe it. It's not illegal. The Supreme Court obviously ruled
Well, there's a lot of shit that's like legal here that like shouldn't be, and there's a lot of shit here that's illegal that shouldn't.
Mhm.
It's a weird fucking conundrum that like it's one of those things where it's like fucking you're never gonna get a good state.
Yeah.
You're just gonna get close enough to be okay with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, can you give me a second? Keep talking. I'm gonna turn on the other light.
Yeah, no problem. So I'll go on this DeSantis thing. So Publix sends this 250,000. Now it's totally legal under Citizens United. Like that is totally legal under federal law. Is it wrong? I think it is wrong, but it's not illegal. So there's a clarification of moral rights and wrongs and legalities in the system. Publix, as a corporation, donated to a political campaign, 250,000. That's a lot. Okay, if 60 Minutes wanted to criticize that, fair enough. So what ended up happening was they said, so when this whole vaccine rollout happened, DeSantis, so one of the things that what makes like Ron DeSantis like really popular right now is he is very good when it comes to crisis management. I don't know, like when that condo fell in Florida.
In Miami, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, what, 2 weeks ago? Last week?
Yeah. Like Democrats in the state of Florida have come out and endorsed Ron DeSantis for his response. They've said,
dude, and with the political climate right now, like if you're a Republican and the Democrats are like, you're cool, or if you're a Democrat and the Republicans are like, you're cool, you're doing something the fuck right, because like we're so fucked up right now. Like that's the disease America has. Like we're so fucked up that like we won't like accept when the other team does something right. You know? Because like even back like say like going back to the fucking like Clinton or first Bush or like Reagan shit, like it wasn't this bad. It was like you're the other side of the fucking political party. You do something fucked up or you do something good. It's like, all right, good job, guy. Good job. You fucking did it.
Yeah.
And now it's like other side of the political spectrum does something fucking amazing, and you're like, okay, so let me tell you why that's either the bourgeoisie doing shit or like you're a Satanist and that's why you're doing it, you know? Fucking.
Yeah. So what ended up happening is CVS and Walgreens are the number 1 and 2. Like that's and pretty much in every state. Like you see the corporatization of the pharmacy business. So CVS and Walgreens in Florida, they got the contract to administer to like a lot of the at-risk population. So like they got like the nursing homes and like hospitals. So CVS and Walgreens, wherever like in certain areas, they got all that business.
Yeah.
So Walgreens and CVS, they can't handle the actual retail footprint for like the healthier people that, hey, I just want to do my part and I want to get a shot, or, you know, like I feel like I'll feel safer.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't a pro get a shot, not get a shot. This is basically you do what you feel is right. So Florida laid out the retail plan for this.
Yeah.
They gave the contract to Publix. Now, mind you, behind the scenes, and CBS and 60 Minutes never reported this. They literally said DeSantis approved the contract to give Publix after he received a $250,000 campaign contribution.
Yeah.
What they didn't say is there was a board of 6 publicly elected officials, 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats.
Yeah.
So, you know, they presented the evidence that Walgreens and CVS was handling all the super at-risk population, your elderly citizens, your people in nursing homes, your people in hospitals. They had actually a shortage on vaccinations. Like they were like too torn. They could not give access to the retail population. Publix actually had the ability to do this. So,
because like Publix is a big fucking company.
And they have a huge retail presence.
Yeah, and like even though like say like CVS is like all over the fucking country, like Publix is still bigger than they are, even though they're only like in the deep south.
Yeah. And Publix literally even still was like the number 2 like as far as volume in a pharmacy in the state of Florida behind CVS. So it was like CVS, Publix, and then Walgreens.
Also, real quick, I have a buddy named Austin. Fucking, he was in fucking 2 or 3-8. Fucking, he works at Publix. Fucking, that dude's a fucking baller. I just wanted to give him a shout out real quick.
Cheers, Austin. So so there was a 6-person council made up of 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, and DeSantis was the deciding vote if there was like gridlock.
Yeah,
there was no gridlock. This was literally a 6-0 unanimous decision that, hey, if we want to get shots in the arms, if we really wanted to do this, like what they're proposing as far as we know, we wanted to get X amount.
Because Publix has the fucking
infrastructure,
gasoline to fucking fuel the trucks to get from fucking factory A to fucking like where you get the shit.
Exactly. It was a no-brainer. Even the Democrats were like, this is a no-brainer. This makes logical sense. This is what gets
2
shots.
2 is 4.
Exactly. So they voted unanimous. DeSantis obviously signs off on it. If it's a 6-0 vote, he's not going to sit there and try to like, oh, I'm going to block this because Publix gave me.
Sign the fucking papers. Get these people their fucking shots. Get the shit to fucking where it needs to go.
So 60 Minutes comes out and they say, hey, this guy's he's getting money from Publix. He's doing this big thing. It was so bad, in fact, that the state of Florida Democratic Party, like the party of Florida itself, came out with an official statement and asked CBS and 60 Minutes to recant it.
Yeah.
Because it was that egregious.
Yeah. I mean, because we have our stereotypes about Florida, but Florida's purple as fuck.
Yeah. And it's turning more purple because you have more people from northern states.
Well, I mean, like Florida voted for Trump, but they also voted for fucking Obama, you know?
Yeah. Well, you have a whole that's a whole nother thing. You have a whole section of Obama voters that voted for Obama in 2018, 2012, that voted for Trump in 2016.
Yeah.
Because they looked at Obama as he was like a disappointment. Because at the end of the day, you know, he had all this promise,
and didn't deliver.
Yeah,
he's like the post Ravens Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, and like he basically established like he kept with the neoliberal agenda. He bailed out the big banks. Did he bail out the little people?
Well, he bailed out fucking Ford, or everyone except for Ford, which is weird because like Ford, I don't know about y'all at home.
Well, Ford never took the
I don't trust fucking Ford vehicle to fucking go down the hill, but like they didn't take the bailout while Dodge and Chevy fucking did.
Yeah. Know? Well, that was the thing, but Obama got a lot of flack. People don't realize this with Obama, with the whole auto bailout.
Yeah,
he did a fucking hit campaign against Republic. So, like, most people don't realize this. The majority of car dealerships lean Republican.
Yeah,
it's a very libertarian.
You drive our fucking truck, you vote fucking Republican.
Yeah,
we're all about America.
So, like, the people that make the trucks are Democrat. The people that sell them, typically Republican.
Dude, there's this whole like fucking weird thing with that because, like, with rare exception, you cannot buy a vehicle from the manufacturer.
No,
you have to buy it fucking from a third party. Fucking fuck off. Who is the guy that runs the fucking dealership, right? Like, the only exception I can think of is like if
Tesla.
Tesla
does direct
and
sales.
you can buy a Corvette from Chevy, but they get this whole thing where you buy it all up front,
and you still have to pick it up from a dealer.
Well, no. Corvette's got a fucking thing where like they roll it off the fucking like assembly line, and you're the first person to fucking drive it.
Okay.
Granted, you have to pay for it up fucking front. And you drive it off the fucking line in fucking Bowling Green, fucking Kentucky. But like, besides that, like, you can't go buy a fucking Dodge Ram from fucking Dodge. You can't buy a fucking F-150 from Ford. You have to buy it from.
Now, the reason why I got confused about the whole Corvette thing is because
it's an outlier.
When Ford launched the Bronco, you could take your reservations directly with Ford up front, but to take delivery, you had to end up finishing all the shit with the dealer.
Oh no, dude! Corvette's got this fucking, or Chevy's got this fucking thing with Corvette, right? Like, granted, you have to pay for it like a year beforehand, and like you don't know what the fucking model is going to be because like you don't know what next year's Corvette's going to be like. You just gotta like take a risk with it, but you pay for it like a year beforehand. with your fucking, it's like 100 fucking grand or whatever. But like you show up and like the steel they pulled from the fucking like steel mill like comes in and you get to watch it for like a week while they like hammer out the fucking parts.
Wow.
Fucking, and then like bolts it to fucking together and all this shit. And then like mile 0, you're the only person that ever fucking drove that car.
That's like Bugatti with like Volkswagen. Yeah. So like,
dude, who the fuck was that? I woke up in a Bugatti.
Who was that?
That was
Ace
years
Hood.
ago. Yeah,
Ace Hood.
Yeah.
He had a couple like that was like his like kind of, he was not a one-hit wonder, but he's like a couple.
Well, I mean, like fucking most rappers in the last fucking 20 years are one-hit wonders. Like
unless you're like Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, like one of them.
Yeah.
Like,
and dude, Lil Wayne's fucking weird too, because like fucking like I personally don't know any of his songs. So I don't listen to his fucking shit. But like I don't remember what the fuck it was, but for some reason I like watched some interview with him. I was like, you're a real motherfucker.
Dude, the thing about Lil Wayne, he has exceptional talent because he is literally, since 13 years old, he has never written down any of his verses. It is literally all in his head.
Just like fucking somebody else write the song, I'm gonna go to the studio and
yeah, like so he gets a beat and he literally listens to the beat like 10 times and then he improvs all that shit.
Well, see, that's good for him. But like I've seen some other shit where like he's like on stage trying to play guitar and it's like, dude, stop.
Yeah.
But like there's some really good mashups on YouTube where it's like he's doing the did it, and then we're gonna cut to Kirk Hammett just like murdering a 6-string.
Yeah.
Like fucking,
but
dude, say what you want about fucking Metallica, but like fucking like personally, like they haven't made a good album in 30 years, but before that, like fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, that's the thing with like Lil Wayne is like he and like the whole thing with like the whole thing about like Lil Wayne is like he launched this whole generation of like new rappers, and I'm not a huge fan of them.
Yeah.
But like they all have like Lil in their name because like they all grew up like listening to Lil Wayne. But like he still can compete with those guys on any given day basis as far as like rhyming and all that. Like it's like Kobe Bryant. It's basically like if Michael Jordan came back in the 90s, like from the 90s, and he still had like he didn't get older. Like he just stayed in 90s form.
Yeah, just and fucking murder motherfuckers. This and was able to like play Chicago like, Bulls fucking like number fucking 23 fucking doing it.
Yeah. And it's like imagine 90s Bulls, like with Lil Wayne, imagine 90s Bulls like in 2021.
I saw this thing fucking recently though. Fucking it was a fucking video of Snoop Dogg fucking talking about modern rappers. He's like, I don't know what the fuck is. You go, that's mumble rap bullshit. Fucking, you put your fucking lyrics together like I did fucking back in the day, or you can go suck my fucking dick. And it's like, okay, Snoop Lion, like I appreciate what you're saying. I'm not knocking you. I agree with you. You're kind of a dick right now, but like I'm not talking back to Snoop. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, like in Snoop Dogg, he kind of got in that whole controversy with he was like, I don't listen to any Eminem shit. And like Eminem and him, like both were discovered by Dr. Dre. So like that was kind of like controversial. Like, Snoop Dogg's one of those guys, like that dude was very smart with his money when he made money. Like he is worth $400 million.
Dude, have you seen that thing? It's very recent. He's got a new weed line called Purple Oracle, and it's him and fucking the guy that played Purple Oracle. And they got some fucking kush out there apparently. And like for y'all listening at home, I don't fucking smoke. I have a very negative reaction to that shit. Like I either go immediately to sleep or the person hiding behind my shadow is going to kill me and I have to go into survival mode. Like I get super paranoid or go to sleep. Like,
well, look at what, like, you know, you say that and stuff, and I know you know your platform.
Hey, Michelle, Jenny, hi, Jenny.
I know your like platform, you know, caters to. I know this isn't really like weed related, but like your platform caters to like a lot of the military community, obviously, and like the research that they're doing right now with like magic, or like with magic mushrooms or psilocybin or like MDMA,
or getting fucking Charles Manson to fucking commit atrocities for the sake of fucking MK Ultra and the
was
pyramid with the eye in it.
Well, that was
the Illuminati, motherfucker.
That was more LSD, but like they've been doing like treatments as far as involving MDMA, like pure MDMA, like that's like not the shit that you buy in the street, like it could be cut with whatever.
No, like the good shit the CIA is fucking like having fucking manufactured at fucking NORAD.
Yeah,
like fucking like you're getting straight cut from Area 51.
Yeah, that shit. So like they're taking that stuff and they're like doing like really huge breakthroughs as far as PTSD.
Yeah,
like they're saying like psilocybin actually helps reset combat vets' heads. Like it helps reset their actual brain to
really.
So yeah, like people that with severe PTSD, it actually just got legalized last month. They can actually eat psilocybin to like try to reset their fucking brain to like overcome the PTSD. We're gonna see a huge breakthrough in like the next 10 years.
Yeah. And then for people at home fucking listening to this, fucking we were talking about this earlier before he came on, but methylquine and doxycycline, we were talking about this earlier. It's anti-malaria fucking medication that you have to fucking take while you're fucking overseas to make sure that mosquitoes don't kill you. But one of the fucking like side effects from taking those fucking like drugs is like it re-alters your brain chemistry to like have PTSD. Like you don't even have to have lived through a traumatic event to have fucking post-traumatic stress disorder anymore, because malaria medications like just does your brain a favor and gives you PTSD for you. Like fucking I was telling him earlier, like one of my things for my fucking disability thing for the fucking VA, I didn't have to do anything for it. It was just like, yeah, you took doxycycline and fucking or methylquine in fucking Afghanistan. Here's your fucking write-off.
Yeah, and that's because we were talking about like vaccine, the whole COVID-19 vaccination, and at the end of the day, like I really feel like if you feel like this is like, and I don't want to tell people how to feel, like you form your own opinions. At the end of the day, like that's what I'm trying to say is like if you feel like the vaccine is going to help you, by all means get it. Like like help out. Like knock it out, but
you've been fucked once or twice by the government.
I totally understand it, and like you should not criticize.
Did I tell you my fucking story about this? So when I'm in school, fucking we have to take a fucking language fucking course, right? So like I'm taking fucking German, and the first 2 years was this fucking German lady. She's from I don't remember where she's from, but she's Hessian. Her name is
that's me. I'm a Hessian.
Yeah, and her last name was
Bad Hersfeld
Wagner. Fucking amazing fucking woman. But like our second one was an Austrian fucking lady, and she was fucking great too. Like fucking sweet fucking person. However, as far as language went, she was like fucking like bam, got it. But like when she would talk about cultural stuff, it's like, listen, lady, I fucking love you to death. Like fucking if I could adopt you as like my fucking like mom, you can be my mom. But like there's social things that you just don't add up on. So she went to high school with the people that came up with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. When they came up with it, because we're going through COVID.
And there was controversy with that, with like if you had blood clots.
Right, but different side of the fucking story on this one, right? So when they came out with it, she was showing us pictures of because the Johnson & Johnson vaccine came up from two people. They were husband and wife fucking team, right? In Germany. But she's like, here's a picture of me and them when we're like fucking, 15 fucking running around whatever fucking like Vienna or Berlin or some fucking place. And she had this thing where she was like, this is going to change Germany because the people that came with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, that couple, they were Turkish immigrants to fucking Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Germany started being really racist towards immigrants in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, and like I was like, I'm gonna raise my hand,
and she isn't lying.
And it's like, wait, Germans started being racist in the 90s. Like I don't want to cause a fucking conversation, but like I think you did some shit before 1990. Starting
in the fucking 30s.
Also, if you're you're watching this, fucking, you're a great teacher. I fucking love you. Fucking keep doing what you're fucking doing. But like, the Germans were racist before the 90s. Just
a lot racist. A lot.
Although I will say that fucking Austria fucking like pulled the fucking hat trick. Like, we're gonna cause 2 world wars and we're gonna blame it on the Germans. And like after each one, like Austria just gets off scot fucking free.
Well, Austria also played the whole, like, people don't realize this, like in 49, they basically leveraged both sides and was like, all right, well, we'll host all your, like, so when the Cold War was going on, Austria was like highly contested. And so, like, people within the Austrian government, they were like, well, you know, the East wants us to join communism.
Yeah.
And the West wants us to join capitalism. So they kind of played both sides for a little while. And they struck a deal down that basically made them a free country to do what they want. And they were neutral. They couldn't, like, go with the West. They couldn't go with the East. And they were just going to stay out of the sidelines. And in return, they also said, hey, if you guys ever want to meet any bilateral meetings, you can host them in Vienna. We will.
Vienna.
Yeah, so that's why, like, with like a lot of the meetings in the 80s between Reagan and Gorbachev, a lot of those meetings were actually in Vienna.
Have you ever noticed that, like, bad guys in fucking 80s movies were always Germans that wore, like, white pants? What the fuck was up with that?
You know, because the whole, maybe, I guess maybe the whole Berlin Wall, you know, type shit.
Dude, one of my fucking favorite things was like when Trump was trying to build that wall in Mexico, and it was like, well, fucking Berlin, fucking, they took that wall down. It's like, do you guys remember when they built that wall in the first place? Like, there was a reason that wall was there, and it was 100% justified. Yeah. And it's like, the fact that we didn't kill everybody in Germany, like, that's mercy, you know? You fucking assholes.
Yeah.
And that's weird, too, because, like, if you look at it historically, like, Germany is, like, as far as Europe is concerned, Germany is where, like, all the good art, music, fucking paintings, all that shit comes from.
High civilization.
Yeah, dude, that was high civil. And, like, people are like, well, you look at the Renaissance, and it was, like, you know, fucking, like, back down in Italy, if you go into, like, Venice or, like, Naples or, like, Rome, that's where all the shit was. It's like, nah, dude, like, compare that to, like, what they call the Northern Renaissance, which is, you know, Holy Roman Empire fucking shit. It's like, nah, dude, like, you can say what you want about Da Vinci, but, like, he was doing, like, bottom tier shit compared to, like, Vermeer or fucking, oh, God, I'm drawing a fucking goddamn blank.
Well, Rembrandt was part of the Northern Renaissance.
Yeah, fucking, like, shit. Fucking, I'm drawing, there's this guy, he got in a lot of heat because, he made the first portrait where he was looking at, I guess, the viewer, and his hair down and his, like, hand up, and they're like, that looks too much like Christ. Albrecht Dürer.
Okay.
He was like 14, 15 fucking hundreds. And this guy, like, you look at his paintings now and be like, that's a photograph.
Okay.
And it's like if I showed you this dude's, like, paintings, like, we could have an argument over whether or not that's a painting or a fucking photograph.
Wow. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, you know, those, you know, like with Germany and shit, like, it's more of an amalgamation. Like, you know, like, my family was from Hesse, and, like, they're Hessians. And
yeah, and, like, Germany wasn't a country until, like, 1880.
Yeah.
And before that, it was like, you know, yeah. Like
1871 was the official.
The German Confederation.
Yep, and it formed an empire because, like, Hesse went bankrupt.
Yeah.
And the Prussians took it over.
Yeah. Oh, another fucking thing is, like, the American Revolution, fucking, most of the battles we fought were against fucking Hessian mercenaries. Like, they weren't actually against the British.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the big ones, like, you know, the shit happened in fucking Boston, like the Boston Massacre, or like the, I forget what it was. It was the Hold the Line fucking thing, which is where Massachusetts got the Lion State thing. Because, like, it's not because, you know, their state's a line. It's because, you know, Boston fucking Minutemen showed up and, like, held the fucking line. But besides that, most of that war was fought in South Carolina, North Carolina against Germans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't
I mean, they were on British payroll, but like even the Headless Horseman, like, he's not a British soldier. That's like the most iconic fucking, like, Revolutionary War, like, lore that we have, and the bad guy's a fucking German dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's that's the thing is like Germany has had like so many upheavals and shit. Like the town where my grandfather's like family's from, like they literally lost like 15,000 in the plague.
Yeah.
And like
what did Europe lose? Like 2/3
mm-hmm.
of their fucking population during the plague?
And like that was like one of the things they were saying, because like the Germans, like they were saying like Germany had like one of the lowest like COVID like death rates. Like they still had like their COVID numbers, like as far as like people infected with it, were like pretty borderline with like other countries.
Yeah,
like,
but they also didn't like close down. They always like people go outside, and like herd immunity is a fucking thing.
Yeah,
like, I think
Sweden was more of the herd immunity.
Yeah, and like I don't have the science to back this, and like anybody watching this now, feel free to fucking rebut this because I'm just some fucking idiot. But it's like, from what it looks like, the people that didn't close down, all fucking sneezed on each other, got each other's fucking germs, and they just fucking like their immune system's fucking compromised, or not compromised, but like, dealt with it.
Yeah, there's like certain things like that. So like, Germany lost. The thing was with Germany though is like they had a bunch of infections. They didn't have a lot of deaths.
Yeah. Same thing with Florida. Florida had like the highest per capita infections, but like not that many people died.
Yeah.
Because they're all fucking assholes, fucking alligators shooting fireworks off, doing crystal fucking meth. And I don't know about y'all at home, but it looks to me like the higher the fucking population does meth, the less people died from fucking COVID.
Well, the scientists were trying to like postulate that the reason why the Germans had like the highest version of asymptomatic COVID patients was because the plague was so hard on Germany, especially like Germany was the hardest hit like area.
Well, I mean, because like back then Germany was Europe. Yeah. Like you had Germany, France, and a bunch of fuckers. I'm sorry, you had Germany, France, Russia, Italy, and a bunch of fuckers that didn't count.
Well, even like at a certain period, Italy was part of the Holy Roman Empire, like the northern states at least.
Yeah.
So, but they said that the Germans got basically hit so hard with like the plague that they actually in their DNA have an
immune system, fucking extra like defense.
Yeah. So like they had an extra defense for COVID because of what they experienced from the plague. And that's what caused it, because you would see stories of like 80 and 90-year-old German people with COVID and they'd be beat.
Like sneeze it off.
Yeah. Like it'd fuck them up. Like they'd be like hurt,
they'd be bed for a fucking week or two, but yeah.
They'd live through it.
Also, since we're talking about Germany, fucking I have this thought fucking process. And I'll go into it fucking here in a minute after we get the initial reaction. But everyone thinks about the big bad Germans coming fucking through and like fucking up the fucking pussy ass fucking French. 2-part question. I want you to name a war the French actually lost. And I want you to name a war the Germans actually won.
Okay. The one that the French actually, you said the name of battle the French actually lost, Wellington. Or well, I meant not Wellington, the Duke of Wellington in Belgium.
Oh yeah, the Duke of Spain. It was in Spain. It was in Hispaniola.
Yeah.
All right.
So there's that one, and then the name of battle that the Germans actually won. Like
no, war, not battle, war.
I mean, Germany wasn't really a country until 1871, and they, like all the Confederated States in the 18 like
they won the Franco-Prussian War. Like,
yeah,
that was steamrolled.
Yeah, they won the Franco-Prussian War, but like
Napoleon towards his fucking grandkid.
Technically, the Franco-Prussian War is what created Germany. So it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like,
who came first? I don't know. Fucking whoever came first. Like,
yeah. It's like what came, but that's what I mean. Like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? As far as Germany, did they they won? But yeah, like Germany has never won.
Yeah, Germany's never won a war. Like the Franco-Prussian War, Prussia won that war, but like Prussia wasn't part of Germany at that point, you know.
Yeah, but we were just talking about how badass the Kaiser's army was, and
and they did kick some ass in World War One.
They never got.
Plus, they lost the war
again, but but that's why you see a prominent figure like Hitler rise, because there in Germany there was this they.
Yeah, and what you were saying before, fucking go over that again.
Like, oh, okay, so yeah, like, well, we'll go into the Germany thing real quick, and then I'll go on who is they.
Yeah,
but they means many things, but the reason why like a person like Hitler arose in Germany is because Germany literally never got pushed back on German soil. So when Germany literally surrendered the First World War, they were on French territory.
Well, like when the American army crossed the Rhine, that was the first time a German town got fucking taken since Napoleon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like, and like people are like, oh, like the big bad Nazis. And like you and me were talking about this, like people don't realize the Kaiser Reich and the Second Reich in First World War, that army that the Kaiser had makes the fucking Nazis look like a JV team.
Yeah.
Like, and as far as like an army and battle and preparedness, like the German army in World War One was like greatest fighting force known to man at the time known to man, because like they,
except for the United States Marines. Look at me, camera people. I will not back down off fucking that one. There's a reason we got nicknamed the Devil Dogs.
Hoorah!
Okay, go into this, and I'll talk to you about Bella Wood.
So, that's why like Germany had they never lost. They never were pushed back to their own territory. And so that was like the big thing with that. And that kind of like rose to the Hitler thing. But like when you go back to say like, who is they? They means many things. Like, I was telling you about like
also real quick, like they on the internet like sometimes mean Jews, and we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
Like this is not
we're not doing the anti-Semitic thing. We're talking about like the German fucking army or like the German fucking parliament.
Yeah, this is not like like we're not going
to go down like fucking like we're not talking about Jews at all, but just because we are on the internet, some people like to say quote unquote they as like euphemism for Jews. That's not what we're doing.
Exactly.
Fuck all. Just wanted to clear that up real quick.
But let's talk about who is that. So the people that they are in power, it's not just like one group. It's not just the Jews. It's not just the Bilderbergers. You can't say like the Jews as a people are like the ones that rule the world. Like that's just fucking nonsense. Like that is like so stupid. Like not one single person. Like just because like the people that rule in America, they don't fucking control what's going on in China.
Yeah.
Like they don't rule. Like that's the thing. Like they're like, and like people like, oh,
well, I mean, like you might be able to say the people that rule in America are also ruling, maybe not ruling in China, but like are pulling some fucking strings, like on the fucking like.
I honestly think China's more pulling the strings on Western.
Well, no, I'm just saying there's a lot of Amazon shit that's like made in fucking China, and like if we're gonna use the like three parentheses in the quote unquote they, if we want to refer to that as Jeff Bezos, maybe.
But like like that's the thing. Like so many billionaires are put on this product, and we got to eat the 1%. But like, so there's a couple different classes. So there's the 1%, the billionaire tech elite. There's that deep state that I was talking about. Your ABC, alphabet.
Yeah, most of them are like the fucking guys in the fucking agriculture.
Yeah.
Words are hard.
Yeah,
words are hard. Agriculture,
especially at this time of night.
Yeah.
So, like,
also for context, fucking, I drank a bottle of rum before I even fucking started tonight. So
yeah, and here's where we're at with bourbon. So
that's where he's at with bourbon. I've been drinking beer since then. So,
but anyways, so there's this whole like thing with there's like the deep state, and there, so like they have a power center.
Hillary Clinton and her cronies. And the Bush family with their shit.
And
like, what was another fucking thing? Like, I'm sorry, side tangent. Like, if you look at shit, Trump, the Clintons, the Bushes. They were best friends until 2016, and then like after that, they were like quote unquote became enemies. But like I would imagine that like fucking like I wouldn't put it past shit for Donald Trump to be fucking Hillary Clinton in the ass right now. As fucked up as that visual would be, like,
oh god,
I mean, like, like Donald Trump sticking it in fucking Hillary Clinton's ass on Epstein's island. Like, if someone told me that was happening right now, I'd be like, yeah, that checks out.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're full of shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's plausible.
It's very that could be a plausible thing. So, anyways, so you have this whole, like, you have these power centers. So you have the deep state. You know, you have your Department of Agriculture. You have your IRS. You have so like all those different alphabet. They're a power center, and then you have another group that is considered the gentry class. So like these are your people that own like you know, and I don't know what way these people swing.
But like fucking Bud Schuster with all 6 of his fucking Chevy dealerships in fucking central Pennsylvania. Fucking come down to Portage Chevrolet. Fucking it's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Yeah, you know, like so like you have your people that own your car dealerships, or you have your people that run commercial real estate in, you know, Portland, Maine. You know, what have you, or you got your guy that runs 16 McDonald's in Eastern Tennessee. Like that is the gentry class. So like these people like will still live in the small towns. Yeah. That they like, you know, establish. Yeah, sure, they may have the house in Key West, but like they're very small town values. They're genuinely like white male, you know, like that whole gentry class. They still have a lot of power.
Yeah.
And so, like, right now, you're kind of seeing this, like, you're seeing each side. So you're seeing, like, the Wall Street elite. So you're seeing the Wall Street elite, and you're, like, young professional, like, urban middle class. They're the ones that are funding, like, the left ideas. They're the ones that are, like, watching the CNN, the MSNBC, what have you. And then you've got your people like in the gentry class, and they're the ones that are funding right-wing shit, and they're the ones that are watching the Fox News, the OAN, and
the Koch brothers.
Yeah, the Koch brothers are like
Koch brothers.
Yeah, Koch, Coke, whatever. Like they are the pillar. They're the top of the pyramid as far as that gentry class, and they're funding the right wing. And then you got your Wall Street elites, some of your deep state people, and like your young urban middle class, they're all like watching CNN, funding like the left. So like you're kind of in this like cold civil war right now where things are at, but it's not lizard people, it's not Jews, like it's not like all this crazy like power, like it's just, like, you know, like the Rockefellers had a lot of power at one point. Because they were the Rockefellers in that Eastern establishment.
Yeah,
like they were like the only power in town. Like it's changed.
I was reading this thing that like Rockefeller, you know, got fucking to be like multi fucking trillionaire in fucking like 1905 or some shit. And when they broke everything up, like with the anti-monopoly laws, it was geared towards, you know, breaking up the monopolies and shit. But consequence of that was all the company that want like what U.S. fucking
they
oil.
Broke Standard Oil up.
Yeah, but because of that, it became all these other different companies.
Yeah, and they own 20% of each company, and they got richer.
Right, like fucking Rockefeller, when he was his richest, it was 5 years after he retired, and they broke every fucking thing up. Like he went from being like modern standard with money, he went from being a fucking millionaire to being a trillionaire almost overnight because Congress said, you can't have that, break it up. And then you got, 100%. You know, X amount of fucking percent of fucking whatever. And like
you own 20% of every oil company that was spun.
Yeah, and owning 100% of one thing was a lot less than owning 20% of 50 different fucking things.
And like people don't realize that. Like people don't realize that like the commercial finance division of JP Morgan Chase that like actually that provides the, you know, commercial lending to like a lot of your businesses, that book of business legitimately, if it was spun off, would be worth more than all of JP Morgan Chase combined.
Yeah, and like modern day fucking money, like that's like I don't know, that was like quadrillions of fucking dollars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so you have your different power centers, and they're all funding it through their media people. So you got your gentry class funding Fox News, and then you got these Wall Street elites, and they're funding the CNNs and MSNBCs. So now you got all these fucking big corporations taking all this money, and they're trying to get people to hate one another. And like we have, like I'm going to tell you right now, no matter whether you feel like you're a Republican, you identify yourself as a Republican or a Democrat, we're Americans.
Yeah, and that's what should come first.
Yeah, that's what should come first. And honestly, if you look at your ideals, no matter like you may have different like thoughts on as far as like ideology.
Yeah. But
like when it comes down to it, we have more common ground than what most people think.
And like it's this weird, I don't know about you, but like I have this weird conundrum because like I don't fit on the political fucking like alignment as far as like say social shit goes, because like I'm super fucking like pro rights, but I'm also super fucking like Second Amendment. And like,
but you could argue that
doesn't line up with any fucking political ideology that's fucking big in America right now,
Exactly. But you could, like, if you're sensible and like have free thought, you could argue that gun rights are a human right.
Yeah.
Like you could argue that like every human should have the right to defend themselves.
Like fucking Joe Biden's like, you don't need an AR-15. You need fucking F-15s and nukes to fucking fight the government. It's like, well, Lee Harvey Oswald fucking had a piece of shit bolt action rifle. Fucking
tell that to the rice farmers in Vietnam.
Yeah. Actually, that's a really fucking funny thing. Because there's a stereotype about like how we lost fucking rice farmers in Vietnam. We won every single battle in Vietnam.
Hands down.
Like there's the thing of the Tet Offensive in like 1968. After that, we completely destroyed the Viet Cong. The rest of the war after that was against the North Vietnamese army, and we beat them into submission to where they went to the UN to fucking tell us to fuck off. And then we like made a peace with fucking North Vietnam, signed the Paris Accords, pulled out of fucking Vietnam, and then after we were out of Vietnam, North Vietnam were like, fucking trees don't mean shit, and like fucking reinvaded the fucking South. Like for every measurable fucking there's a word I'm looking for, I'm not pulling up right now, but like for like intensive purposes, any definition of fucking victory you can get, we actually did win Vietnam, but then Walter Cronkite fucking said we lost it, and that's why everybody thinks that we lost fucking Vietnam. Like, when North Vietnam took South Vietnam, we were already out of the country. Like, we signed the fucking peace fucking whatevers. It'd be kind of like if at the end of World War II, fucking like we like us and the Russians took Germany, and we're like, all right, here's your fucking like peace shit, fucking the war's over, and then like we leave fucking. We pull the massive troops out of Germany. Fucking Russia pulls the massive troops out of Germany, and then like East Germany like took West Germany.
Okay,
yeah,
and so if the Vietnam example is bad, again, I'm not.
I mean that's like a deep fucking thing because like most people will just say, oh yeah, we lost Vietnam. It's like,
okay, so like you can tell that to the Vietnamese rice farmers or what have you.
Well, there's this other thing with that though is like, if you're the little guy in a fucking fight like that, you don't have to win. You just have to not lose.
Yeah.
Like fucking, if you have
that's
like
what we did in the revolution, essentially.
Yeah, if you have 1,000% fucking attrition rate, as long as like you're still fighting when the other guys decide, fuck it, I'm done. That wins.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, you have all these like little factions like fighting for like the power and the soul. So we have this like cold civil war going on. But like, yeah, again, America they have more in common than they have divided. And I like my biggest hope is eventually, like, we just understand, like, yeah, we may have like some differences ideologically. We're still all Americans. Like, we still live in a great country. Like, trust me, I'd rather no matter where you fall on the political spectrum, I think most people would prefer living in America rather than waking up at 4 years old in Pakistan and getting taught how to sew a soccer ball because that's
well, I mean that's another thing because like on one hand I would rather be homeless in fucking America than like live in Pakistan, but on the other hand, like, have you seen fucking like Pakistani or Saudi chicks not behind the burqa? It's like
I've seen a Pakistani girl.
I commit war crimes for that. Like fucking, there's a reason they have to cover them up. Like fucking, like in America, we're legitimately playing between like 1 and 8.
Yeah.
Like fucking whoever the hottest American fucking woman you know, she's an 8. And fucking Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, like they go up to 15. Like fucking like. Dude, Iran, they're going to like 26.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason they have to hide them because they'd be like, the chicks are that hot. Okay, all right. So we all
and Afghanistan
like,
had beautiful women.
Like,
too.
We're not divorcing. We're just like, fuck you. Fuck your wife. We're going somewhere else. You know, fucking.
I've heard from countless servicemen that Afghanistan has the most beautiful women in the world.
Dude, no, it's weird too because like they're at the big they have a bunch of fucking ethnicities.
Yeah, they're basically a coalition of tribes.
The big ethnic group there, the Pashtuns, right? Like they got like red skin, like almost like sepia, I guess would be the fucking color, like fucking that weird color between red and brown, right?
Okay.
But like they get like blue or green eyes, fucking like either like that red auburn fucking hair and like fucking like you know how I fucking feel about we both married redheads.
Yeah.
You know, fucking that fucking hair color, like dark skin, and it's like there's a reason you're wearing the burqa, you know. It's to prevent us to invading, like, not oil. We're here for pussy.
We are here for your woman. We are taking it. No, but like, so like, yeah, there's a couple different power centers, and you know they're forcing the subject and things like that. But like, one of the greatest books I've ever read was a book by Alvin Toffler. It was written in 1979. It was called Future Shock. And like Alvin Toffler talked about how like technology is going to get to a point where, and again, mind you, this book was literally written in 1979. So Toffler writes about how like it's not happening yet, but there's going to come a point where technology gets so advanced, like people are going to be in shock. They're not going to know how to react. Maybe their job gets lost because of technology. Like, you know, I work in finance. The job I do on a daily basis, like within the next 10 to 15 years, will be able to be done by a computer.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I've accepted that fate. And that's fine.
I started buying real estate.
Yeah, so I started buying
real estate. A computer cannot buy fucking property.
Exactly. So I started buying real estate to hedge that. And like at the end of the day, like these software algorithms like are so unreal, like with what's happening, like as far as like that stuff. So you're gonna like this whole future shock thing is happening. And that's why you see like a figure like Donald Trump have so much power, because like at the end of the day, like people are like, I lost my fucking job. And like, you know, like people got so hyped up about Obama and they voted for Obama in 2018, 2012, and then they voted for Trump in 2016 because like they just want something that's going to change the system because they feel like the system doesn't work for them.
Right.
And it doesn't, you know, we sign NAFTA and shit like that. But like, you know, like computer automation, like they're coming for the white collar jobs now.
Yeah.
They're coming for jobs like mine.
Yeah.
They're coming for the accountants, like all that stuff. And it's like, you know, we're going to have to really figure that out, or we're going to be dealing with some serious issues. If you can't, you know, does it look like Saudi Arabia where, you know, they tax the oil company 50%, and that's what funds everybody's like living.
Yeah.
And do we have like a UBI? I don't know how it's all going to play out. I'm just postulating like you got all the you got all the stuff where we're in a situation where the computers are going to get smarter and better, and the singularity will happen in our lifetime.
We're 2 steps away from Skynet.
Yeah.
Like fucking one of the reasons I stack up on fucking 762 is because like I have confidence that I'll push through fucking steel. Like the Terminators are coming, you know.
Yeah, very well. It really is, because like they're closing in on the job. And so you're seeing like this future shock happening, and like the overreaction on both sides it's alarming. But I can't blame either side, because it's like we've never faced like a situation like this before. We don't have technology literally disrupting.
New frontier.
Yeah, it's a whole new frontier. So you have that whole aspect, and that at the end of the day, like that's like some of the stuff. But like there's whole new industries literally forming. Like I told you about DeFi.
Yeah.
And so like you have decentralized finance, like it's built right now primarily on the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah.
So essentially what happened is like we literally nationalized the bond market and the mortgage market.
Yeah.
Like Fannie and Freddie Mac right now are literally worth $0. They are insolvent. But yet the mortgage market is booming more than it ever has, because the Fed has stepped in, put stop gaps and things like that, to where it doesn't matter where the price or what Fannie and Freddie Mac got going on. We know the government's there, printing trillions of dollars. So
yeah, like what is it like? Fucking like 90% of the U.S. dollars fucking like made ever, or in the last like 2 years.
Last year,
yeah.
So like we're in June 2021. The total. So in July of 2020, when all the coronavirus relief started happening, and you had your PPP money, you had the $1,200 checks going out to everybody, all that stuff. You had literally, so the US dollar before that was around for 243 years.
Yeah.
So literally we've printed X amount of dollars in 243 years. Let's say that number is 10 trillion.
Yeah.
Like I don't know the number, the exact number. So internet, please do not kill me. But this, like, you can look this up. I'm not lying about the actual like fact of the stats.
Yeah.
So we had, like, let's say from 1797 or whatever to 2020, we literally printed.
Also, keep talking. I'm gonna think of this.
We literally printed $16 trillion. Like, I don't know if we actually printed that, but hypothetical.
Something like that, though.
Yeah. So let's say we do that in July of 2020. We literally print $18 trillion. So we literally print in 1 month more than what we printed in 245 years combined in one single month. So that's why you're seeing like contractors and housing going through the roof and what have you. Because at the end of the day, we're printing more money than we've ever printed in the history of our country in 1 month. So that's very significant. One of the things, like they said they did, is they nationalized the bond market, they nationalized the mortgage market. So like bond yields are the lowest they've been ever, pretty much. They actually had there's like the retail apocalypse, but on Wall Street, there's a bond apocalypse. So what that means is like the Federal Reserve has come in and they've essentially nationalized the bond market. So like I work for a financial institution. My financial institution, it's a regional bank. They sold off their fixed income business because it's not profitable with the Federal Reserve nationalizing everything and yield spread so low.
Yeah.
That is not a viable out. They're going to lose money even hiring the people to run that. So they sold it off to another investment firm.
Yeah.
So with this whole bond apocalypse stuff, you are actually seeing a flooding of money in like the cryptocurrency things, but essentially like DeFi, decentralized finance.
Yeah.
Now, decentralized finance is like it's like the whiskey of the world. So like there's bourbon, scotch, Irish whiskey, Canadian whiskey, rye, what have you. There's all these different types of products in the DeFi space. But remember that whole situation with the GameStop?
Yeah.
Like where like they were like bankrupting hedge funds because all these hedge funds like took money out to short a stock and said that this stock's going to go
And then
down.
a bunch of nerds on Reddit were like, yeah, fuck you, man.
Yeah, like we're going to fuck the system, fuck these guys. So like that's all real. So like hedge funds short stocks all the time. And essentially what happens is when they short stock, they're thinking it's going to go down. And what they do is they borrow. So how like when you short stock, so let's say like right now the stock is at $25.
Yeah.
So you think the stock's going to 20 in like 60 days. You can literally write up a contract that says and lease the shares at, so you can basically get a loan on the shares at $25 an hour.
Yeah.
Or $25 a share. Excuse me. $25 a share.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, I'm buying ExxonMobil stock at $25 a share, and I own, 1,000 shares. So I own $2,500 ExxonMobil, and Ford launches the F-150 electric, and you're like, oh shit, like oil companies are fucked. And again, this is not sound financial advice. Like this is just me like
ranting.
Ranting about a scenario. So you basically are like, okay, Exxon's got to go down because Ford's coming out with an electric car. Dodge's parent company, they had their electric day. It's not looking good for the gas market. I'm going to short Exxon. So basically what you can go to is if you're a hedge fund or you're an accredited investor, you could go to a brokerage like Ameritrade and be like, Ameritrade, how many people that are clients of yours owns Exxon stock? They're like, X amount. All right. I would like to order $2,500 worth of stock. So they issue that, and then they go immediately and sell that stock on the market for $20. Yeah. And they profit the $5 difference. So that's like kind of like how a stock short works. So you got like all these different like fugazis in the economy. And they're like, and like I said, they've essentially nationalized the bond market. So like, where does it actually like go from here?
Yeah.
Bond yields are low. The mortgage market's obviously booming, but that's more of, pressures on the, supply and demand more than like what's going on with Freddie and Fannie. But if you're a fixed income trader and you have to deliver the yield for your middle class clients that are like, people don't realize the bond market is essential for holding up middle class retirement. Like that is like a huge pillar. Because like, as you get older, if you're smart, you diversify, you start selling equities at like age 50 and you start buying short-term bonds and stuff to help prepare you for retirement. And then as you're drawing some of that retirement money, you're still putting it in shorter-term bonds to get it. But now the Feds have nationalized all that. So where do you go? And so what's happening is you're seeing like a bunch of the money that's usually pooled for that bond market, it's all going into DeFi. DeFi is eating the bond market alive right now. And so like when we're talking about the shorting of the stock, what if you didn't believe that the stock needed to be shorted? Like you're like, okay, or like let's say this. You think pick a company.
GameStop.
So you think GameStop? Okay, well, all right. So you think GameStop 10 years from now is going to be a viable play? Like they're going to figure.
They're still gonna be around playing fucking PS fucking 6 games.
And they're going to figure out how to like transition the model.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So you're playing that long-term game. The feds have nationalized the bond market and like that stuff. So like you need a hunt for yield. Where are you going to put it? Like you think maybe, there's still uncertainty. GameStop in 10 years could be out of business.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
It probably will
Should be.
But, you fucking never know, man. Like fucking one of the things that is like Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
Nintendo started off as like a Yakuza fucking side business, fucking making dice and playing cards in the fucking like 1860s.
Mm-hmm. True
and
story.
then fucking
they made love hotels too.
Yeah, and they were like kind of like just surviving off of like making like board games, like fucking like whatever the Japanese version of fucking Monopoly fucking was. And then you had the video game crash. Like a lot of people don't like. There's a lot of video game players now that don't fucking know this because everyone thinks that like the video games like took off like recently, but like video games like really took off in the fucking 70s, started like skyrocketing in the 80s, and then like crashed into the fucking dirt.
Yeah,
in like 1982 or 3.
Well, they literally took those ET video games and like buried them in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, and then like Nintendo came around, they're like, this isn't a video game, this is an entertainment system, and then like revitalized it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So
it'd be kind of like if fucking like Tesla found some shit where it's like these cars aren't running off of electricity, they're running off of water. Have fun, kids. You know? And then just like blew up in the fucking everybody's fucking driving the shit.
So like, we talked about how shorting stocks work. So like right now, if you say you own stock in GameStop, whoever your brokerage is through, say it's Robinhood, Charles Schwab, these hedge funds could have deals on it and they could take your shares that you own and short it. So they could essentially sit there and say, I'm buying it for 25, but basically they're buying in at 25, but they're selling the shares at 20.
Yeah.
So they own the shares at 25. So they're pocketing.
Well, Walmart does a thing like that where like there isn't a Walmart that you've ever been to that's actually owned by Walmart. They buy the fucking property, sell it to someone else, and then like let that other person like be the landlord. And then after that other person like landlords the property, they build a fucking Walmart and then like just pay them rent.
Mm-hmm. That's how Stan Kroenke got rich. The owner of the he owns a soccer club.
And Kroc, the guy that owns fucking McDonald's. Yeah. Same fucking thing.
Yep, exactly. So
Roy Kroc, I think is his name.
Yep.
Was his name. Dude
Ray Kroc. It was like, Ray.
Yeah, died in the 80s or fucking whatever, but like
so essentially, like right now, if a hedge fund shorts stock, they're using our accounts. Like, so like we could be buying GameStop, but the shorts are like literally borrowing the shares.
Yeah.
And making a quick profit off it. So let's say in the future, they're like, okay, we want, we'll buy the 400 shares and we'll pay you 500 back, but we're going to give you a $20 bill.
Yeah.
In that whole meantime, while this is going on. So what DeFi essentially does is like we can write out that contract up and essentially execute it if we, agree that Ethereum is going to be the like end all pony that we can eventually sell.
Which is kind of a weird thing because like everyone talks about fucking Bitcoin, but like everything I like look into that's like practical, like it's all Ethereum. Like nobody gives a like as far as like your actual money is concerned. No one gives a fuck about Bitcoin. It's all fucking Ethereum.
Well, people do give a fuck about Bitcoin. Here's the difference. Here's what you need to think. And like, here's what you need to think as far as how you look at these assets. And this is like the most like layman breakdown for people. You got to think of Bitcoin as digital gold. Like there's only a finite amount. Like this is going to be a huge store of value. It's basically a store of value. Ethereum, though, is a whole different thing where Ethereum is like they offer like monetary incentives, but Ethereum is essentially like a decentralized Amazon cloud computer. That's all it is. Like you can
Really?
you can build it like that whole NFTs, like all that comes off the Ethereum blockchain. So you can build blocks on top of the Ethereum blockchain for whatever you want. And so like that, so Ethereum basically is like a network that is a decentralized Amazon cloud that you can write up contracts and the system will validate it every time. So there's no bullshit or anything like that. So and what's happened from that is now you're seeing what they call DAOs.
Yeah.
A DAO is going to replace the LLC. So you have your limited liability companies now. A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. They're going to be the ones that you basically vote on. Like a corporation of the future essentially will be like, you'll have your head of the departments and they'll propose different things. But then you'll have a room and people will literally vote on whether they think that's going to like be the key to the survival of the business or not. So
I personally see some difficulty in that, just because at that point you get the government involved, and like you could do whatever the fuck you want and fucking have it like fly fucking free, but as soon as like the fucking IRS is like,
indeed,
you come to a fucking brick wall as far as like what you can do with it,
Well, for sure, but 100% right. So. But going back to this whole DeFi thing, so you have like this new market that is literally replacing the bond market.
Yeah.
Because you have a bunch of fixed income people. So like what happens then? Well, in the next 4 years, they think DeFi is going to be bigger than the market cap of the NASDAQ. And I think that argument is not bullshit.
Yeah, no, see, I have this like brain fart with that. Like every time I see NASDAQ, like because I am not illiterate, fucking what's the word? Where you like see letters and they're like the other fucking thing. God, dyslexic.
Okay.
A little bit of dyslexia. Every time I see NASDAQ, I read it as NASDAQ, and it's like, oh, that's not the same fucking thing.
I got you. So the NASDAQ's going to be replaced as far as market cap and that's happening in the next 4 years. Like there's going to be a huge wealth transfer that this country has never seen in their life, because like new technologies are emerging and there's a future shock in the system that the older industries aren't going to be reliant. So like there's huge opportunity right now, more than there ever has been, to really like build yourself a legacy or like whatever you feel like in your head. Because like so many people get caught up in like money. I need $10 million. Well, $10 million, like why do you need that?
Yeah.
Well, it'd just be nice to have the money. Well, yeah, sure. Like everybody would love to have Jeff Bezos' money, but like, what are you doing with it? Like how, like when you handle the responsibility of having that kind of net worth, like what are you doing to better the planet? What are you doing to better your fellow man?
No, we were talking about earlier, like how much did fucking Jeff Bezos like give to like stop climate change?
$20 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking money, because like $1 billion is $1 million.
So yeah, 20 million millions.
Yeah, that's more than I did fucking recycling.
Yeah, so like, who am I to say that Jeff Bezos is an evil billionaire?
I mean, he might be.
He could be.
Like he looks very Lex Luthor-y, but like at the end of the day,
he does look Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
oh
dude,
my god,
he does. But at the end of the day, like he's done more for the environment than I did.
Yeah, can't knock it.
And like you can talk all you want about fucking like where the money's going to do this and that, but like fucking my thing is, you could be wherever the fuck you want on the fucking political spectrum, but like if this thing going through makes cleaner air and cleaner water, I'm down for that. You know?
Well, hands down, and so that's
because air and water are fucking good things to have.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, so you're seeing this. So what is decentralized finance, and like how is this in 4 years going to be bigger than NASDAQ? Going back to the whole like shorting of stock, and we've kind of like gone down stuff because buying alcohol.
Yeah, fucking.
Cheers.
Also, you like that glass?
Yeah,
you should. You gave it to me.
I know. Wedding gift. Anyways, let's say in the future you own stock in GameStop.
Yeah.
But a hedge fund says, I want to short the stock, but we need to borrow shares. Well, Trip, let's borrow your shares. And instead of paying that interest to the brokerage that sells those shares without telling you, how about that broker says, okay, I'm going to charge 15%. All right. And Gene, I'm going to give you 8% of the interest, and I'm going to keep 7. And I'll make enough money. That's basically what decentralized finance is.
Yeah.
That's what DeFi is. So you have like this whole DeFi space. And then, you as an artist, you've been kind of like picking my brain as is like, what's NFTs and like,
yeah,
how is this going to transfer?
Dude, I've taken the deep dive on NFTs. I still don't get it. Like what I'm trying to bank on is like, I'm going to give you art. You do the money thing.
Yeah.
And you have to have an accomplice in crime.
We're gonna eventually launch NFTs on your artwork like that. Yeah. That is like your progression, and I'm working with people to handle that. But the thing is like, so like the NFT is literally in the first inning. Like think of a baseball game. You have 9 innings. Like we are literally in inning. Like we are in the top of the first.
Personally, what I've looked at it, I don't think we're that far. I think we're like halfway through that inning.
Yeah.
I mean, because like you don't know where the future is going to go. You don't know what's going to fucking happen. And then like the way I look at fucking shit is like wherever we think we are, we're no, even going back to like say the Industrial Revolution, right? Like fucking like late 1800s, like we figured out like how to make fucking people like go to work fucking 9 to 5 to like build machines that do a fucking thing. But like if you look at it like way back in the day, all that was like getting enough coal to like build a truck that someone's gonna spend, adjusted for inflation, $600 fucking dollars nowadays. Fucking shit. Fast forward, it's like fucking all that fucking shit, and that like gets you like Netflix.
Yeah. So like you have these NFTs. And it's basically a more fair way for the artist to continually get compensated. Because
art's a fucking like giant fucking Ponzi scheme.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Like I'm doing like low level shit. Like I'm making a painting for like $200 or $300 fucking bucks, But there are other assholes that like duct tape a banana to a fucking wall for fucking 40 fucking grand, and you are not going to convince me that's not money laundering.
No, it is. It's down. It's somebody owes money to somebody.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these deals,
I insulted someone's lasagna and I got to pay for it,
Yep. And like, so, a lot of these like backroom art deals are done in international waters on mega yachts. So
yeah, I put $50 worth of material goods into fucking something.
And
give me $1 million.
Yeah, and mega yachts are actually a money laundering firm.
Do you know what I fucking think is a goddamn shame and a kind of a fucking pussy move is like millionaires fucking like get fucking like super fucking like uppity in their fucking shit and go buy a yacht. Do you know how many decommissioned battleships there are? Why aren't you motherfuckers getting like old battleships and fucking like driving around on the fucking like USS fucking Kansas or fucking some shit? Like go buy the USS Texas.
Yep.
And float around on that motherfucker, And then like if someone gives you shit, well, I mean, you got fucking like 18 fucking 12-inch guns, Fucking you have to like get the Navy involved to stop you. But no. You're gonna get a fucking like really big sailboat, fuck you. Like, dude, at one point, I don't remember exactly what the specifics were that happened. But when the Soviet Union collapsed, they had to sell most of their Navy.
Yeah.
And most of their Navy they sold to Pepsi.
Yeah.
And there was a point in like fucking the late 80s, early fucking 90s where Pepsi had the world's second largest Navy. And then they just kind of like, scuttled it. It's like, no, why didn't you guys like build a country out of that? Like, you're an evil, you're a fucking like big giant fucking mega corporation. Like, buy a fucking island in the fucking Caribbean because you have the money to do that, and then arm it.
Yeah.
With nuclear weapons, which Pepsi had at some point, which is weird. Why did Pepsi have fucking nukes? Because they bought it from the fucking Russians.
Yeah.
But like, you're just gonna give that back and fuck off? No. Go Lex Luthor. Be Lex Luthor. Like, do it. Like, and granted, like, I would be against that because I'm the Coke side of that fucking argument.
Yeah.
But like, why pussy out?
So the NFTs are essentially a way for like the artists to get better representation. But there's like other forces that are kind of like coming into play. So you have Epic Games, maker of Fortnite, you know, and they made what's the powerful engine that funds a lot of them?
The Unreal.
Unreal, yeah. They're the makers of the Unreal Engine and Fortnite.
Dude, did you play the new Doom yet?
Not yet.
We'll go into that in a minute.
So you have, and I'm going to touch base on like where NFTs are going.
Yeah.
But an NFT is cool. So like an NFT is cool. So like we're going to like, you know, line up your NFTs on like future paint, like digital art that you make to where like you're going to get 10% of the sale in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Like,
so if someone else buys it and sells it, I get 10% of what they sold. And if that person says fuck it and sells it, then I get 10%.
Yep. And it'll all be on Ethereum blockchain. So like it's guaranteed. Like,
yeah,
no one else can buy that token without having Ethereum. And the Ethereum network says you have to get paid before ownership is transferred.
Real quick, I know this is a complete break in the fucking conversation, but it like came into my mind and I wanted to fucking talk about it. There was this band in the 90s called the Smut Peddlers. They were fucking like hardcore punk rock band, but they also were like way far on the right, which is weird because like most punk rock bands is like very far left. But they had a lyric in their song called "Fuck You, That's Why." But it was the lyrics went, "We all know that Bill Clinton can't be trusted. Half of us are unemployed, the other half are busted. We do not deserve any dignity or freedom. Where the fuck is Lee Harvey Oswald when we need him?"
I think my dad said something somewhere on Facebook, got banned. But anyway, so you have this whole NFT, like this whole NFT space. Well, you know, one of the biggest currencies in the market and circulation is V-Bucks.
I don't think I've heard of V-Bucks. Like I know
it's
Bitcoin,
not even
I know
real,
Ethereum, I know fucking
because it's not a
Dogecoin.
Well,
fucking
V-Bucks is literally more of a facade. Well, actually, you know, as Dogecoin.
Yeah.
So V-Bucks is literally the in-game currency you can buy in Fortnite.
Okay.
And where I'm going with this is like this is the future of the NFT.
Yeah. Like you're playing fucking Fallout fucking like 16 and you're in a fucking like burnt down fucking casino, but like in the game you're actually betting pennies instead of fucking like video game money.
Yeah. But video game money is going to eventually be real money. And here's why.
Well, did you read Ready Player One? That's how that worked in that game. Or
in that
universe.
That reality is being created. So Epic Games, the maker of Fortnite, recently, like literally within the last 60 days, has come out and said, look, we feel like we have the technology to do it. We are going to create an omniverse. Basically, essentially, we're going to create Ready Player One. That is their next vision. They partnered with NVIDIA chips to do that. Sony invested $1 billion in them, like to do this. So essentially, like you could link up, like you and me are sitting here on this podcast right now.
Yeah.
On this omniverse, and like we could literally broadcast. Yeah. Hello. We could literally broadcast this podcast into the omniverse.
Wait, can I make my podcast NFTs?
You could. So like V-Bucks, like yeah.
Watch out, Joe Rogan. I'm coming after you with all 16 of my followers.
So yeah, like they're building. So like Epic Games wants to build this Omniverse, and they partner with NVIDIA chips, and like so they want to create like a digital world.
Yeah.
Like, and it'll be like the world that we like normally interact, but like we're spending 8 hours a day on a VR headset, cell phone, computer, like all these like
dead end job at fucking like Target.
Yep, and all these different devices are going to be all interconnected into this omniverse.
Yeah.
And so, like, I know it sounds so far fetched, but like the omniverse literally by 2035 is going to be worth 4 times.
Well, I mean, like that's just unfucking predictable because like if you tried to explain the internet now to somebody in 1995, they call you a fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
hands down. So yeah, like this omniverse thing is being developed. Like there's major players at play, and it's more in the video game space. So like they're developing that, and they're saying by 2035 that's going to be worth 4 times more than our current world economy. So
adjusted for inflation.
That I mean, they didn't say yes or no, but I'm assuming it'd be a little adjusted.
I mean, because like you hear some weird shit, like fucking as far as adjusted for inflation goes, like so. At the peak of the British Empire, right? Like fucking like Man of War, like the big fucking battleship, right? Those cost adjusted for inflation as much as an aircraft carrier does now.
Oh, wow.
In America now, we have 16 fucking nuclear aircraft carriers. The badasses of the fucking planet. 300 years ago, adjusted for inflation, for the ships cost the same, right?
Yeah.
The Great Britain had like 600 of them.
Oh shit.
But back then, you know, they had more money than literally they had more money than God.
Yeah.
You know, and when I say that, I mean like the Catholic Church, however much money they have, plus whatever the Orthodox had, plus whatever the fucking like Northern European fucking like pagan Protestants had, like however much money you could tithe to the church.
Yeah.
England had more money than God. So like we had 16, they had like 600. Now granted, you know, like fucking this big, they have like, you know, 40 guns on them.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't like, you know, send a fucking F-18 off of them or fucking anything, but like as far as like dollar for dollar goes, like
yeah,
it was like an evil amount of fucking money, you know.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, you have this like, and so those NFTs are going to eventually be like, those NFTs are going to essentially be like, eventually like your kids someday, you know, because they may take your artistic whim and they may be able to develop skins, and your kid could literally be at 12 years old developing skins for Fortnite.
Yeah.
Or whatever the future Fortnite is in the Omniverse, and make millions of dollars selling.
Yeah, also the Angel of Death saying fucking way back in the day, they didn't have to worry about a bunch of shit. They just had an army and a fucking navy, which is a fucking like advantage for that. But like also at the same time though, like fucking like when I was learning video editing, we had to like shoot it on a fucking camera, take that shit apart, fucking, you know, upload it, fucking cut it together. But like nowadays, fucking people are learning video editing on fucking TikTok. Like the future's here.
The future's here.
It's
a future shock, and that's why you're seeing so much divisiveness, is because both sides are getting the effects of that future shock, and they don't know how to react. And instead of trying to like take a step back and like see what's really going on, they want to blame the opposite of themselves.
Yeah, no, like another thing with it though is like fucking like people like to think that like technology stopped. Like we got here, that's where we are, we're gonna like stay stagnant. But like if you look at shit, fucking like what like computer technology, like it bounces like 500% every 6 fucking months. Like we're at the point now when you buy a computer, it's already obsolete. You know, like granted, like, you know, like you don't see that like on your end because like it works, you can use it, but like as far as like what's available, by the time you buy it, fucking there's somebody else developing something that's like 2 years fucking advanced from fucking that.
Oh, for sure.
Like I fucking love my fucking computer to death. It fucking works, you know, but like compared to like what you could buy now. Like that, like the computer we're watching this on now is like 2 years old. Like it might as well have been made in the fucking Bronze Age, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, but like, yeah, and that's the thing is like technology is changing so much. Like people just don't know how to like really comprehend it, you know.
Wait, hold on, bro. Hey, wait, it's Fish. Fish, what's up, man? Fish is one of my fucking like big fucking follower dudes. Like he was one of the dudes that fucking gave me a chance way back in the day. Is like no name underground author. Fuck you. Fine, I'll read it. You know, like
what
fucking,
up, Fish?
What's up, Fish?
What up, little fishy?
Bowden Fish.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, fucking shit's fucking, dude. It's weird because like I was telling you guys this fucking earlier, but like as far as like like UFOs and shit go, right? Like one of the big things is like in the 80s, the big UFO thing is this big fucking triangle flying around. We don't know what the fuck it is, but then like we go to war with fucking Iraq in 1991, and we're like we bombed we destroyed Iraq with this thing, big black flying triangle. It's like so all these UFO fucking sightings from the fucking 80s. It's like big black flying triangle. Oh, it was just the fucking Air Force. Yeah. Their fucking thing. Like I am confident that like granted, like there's some UFO shit that, like I'm not even gonna try to fucking explain. And I do think aliens have been here.
Oh yeah.
But I do think that like 99% of like UFO sightings have been like shit the Air Force hasn't made fucking.
I've only seen one UFO in my life. And I looked it up on the internet because, you know, curiosity. And then I'm fully convinced it was from the government. Here's why. So I'm sitting there, like 14 years old, playing in the backyard, running around, getting my dog some exercise.
Yeah.
My dog decides to lay down. He's tired from running. So
is it Omar?
Yeah, it's
Omar. Omar was a big fucking giant German Shepherd. Yeah, like he was like this tall. Big fucker.
And so like he laid down and he would like when he was tired, he would let me rest my head on his back. So I'd sit there and I'd just toss the ball up. And I'm looking at the sky, and all of a sudden I see this plane, and it's flying from southwest to northeast. And it is floating. I mean, faster than fuck. All of a sudden, I see the plane, and I don't see the plane. And all of a sudden, I see like somebody blowing like smoke rings.
Yeah,
like that
fucking Aurora spy plane shit.
It was the Aurora spy plane, and they were flying out of the right path. Like I was like, what the fuck did I just witness?
Yeah, because at the time, like we're outside Massillon, Ohio, and Wright-Patterson's like what 120 miles away, and like everyone likes to think they took the aliens to Area 51, but like if you look into it, they took them Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which is south central, ish.
Yeah, so Ohio. It's an hour. I would say it's about an hour southwest of Columbus, like in Dayton. So like. Dayton's like halfway between Columbus and Cincinnati in the state of Ohio. So like right around that area.
Yeah, no, but like what I was telling you earlier, I'm gonna tell the people now. But fucking when I was on my first ship deployment, fucking we had some Navy SEALs come on board. They took everybody's fucking phones away, took all the cameras fucking away. Like, we'll give these back to you in a fucking week. But the Navy SEALs flew in on this fucking like these fucking helicopters. I'm using heavy quotes on the fucking helicopters thing because like they look like something that you would build on your fucking Air Force thing on like fucking like Command and Conquer Red Alert 2. Like fucking they look like fucking flying saucers.
Yeah.
Like the fucking blades were inside their own enclosed fucking like circular fucking thing. Like they didn't have like a rear fucking like stabilizer. Like looked like a fucking like if you go to the store at the mall that sells the shit you only see on fucking TV, like the little fucking like remote control fucking drone like things that they made sci-fi shit out of. Like I only saw this thing for like a second and a half before somebody was like, "Get the fuck." But like we have that shit, Like anything that the government fucking tells you that we have, we've had that shit for fucking 30 years.
Yeah,
20 years at the very fucking minimum, least. Bare fucking least. So like shit like you know, back in like 1991, like after the Gulf War, it's like, oh, by the way, we have planes that are impervious to fucking radar. It's like they've had that shit since the fucking 70s.
Yeah.
So like there's some shit where it's like, yeah, that might be fucking aliens, but there's a lot of fucking UFO shit where it's like that's probably the Russians, and I'm okay with that being the Russians because we probably have that shit too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then like look at that whole rods of God. We have satellites in space. That
Yeah,
can
drop a
literally-
fucking like a 1 ton fucking piece of iron that can like obliterate a fucking city.
like people don't
No
realize
explosives involved.
we literally have like satellites in space, and they're called the rods of God, and they literally hold these big, like a fist, like what I'm holding there, and they can literally, a satellite within split seconds can communicate where to drop this.
Yeah.
So it's spinning around the Earth's globe, and it has rockets on the satellite.
Yeah.
And it gets speed up, and it'll land right where it needs to, and they drop a fucking bomb, literally from outer space.
Well, it's not even a bomb. It's just a piece of fucking iron.
Yeah. And it goes all the way down in inertia. It literally causes a nuclear bomb explosion without nuclear fallout.
Yeah, no radiation or anything, just that much fucking force on the fucking blowout. But one of the things that we're predicting with like World War III being is like phase 1 is we shoot each other's satellites down. But fucking the way, I don't know what the Army, Navy, Air Force are doing, but like I know for a fact the Marine Corps is training now for a situation like you're on the ground, you don't have communications, like your fucking like company is on your fucking own. Here's your objective, fucking do it. Like you're not having backup because you can't use your fucking radios because that's just
smart
down.
Smart. So I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, so you have this whole like these NFTs and like V-Bucks were huge things going back to that. So these kids were making all these like skins for like, and that's kind of where this whole Omniverse is starting. So these kids are like making skins for Fortnite. And they're making money. Like some of these kids are making $100,000 a year.
And good for them if they can do that.
Yeah, 14-year-old kid. Like
here's my thing on that though. Is like all these fucking like American communists, because they're not real communists. They're American communists. There's a distinct definition because like actual communists are farmers working fucking steel mills, do that shit. American communists are like, I sell my shit on Etsy and I'm not getting enough money. Meh.
Yeah, I want more government handouts.
Yeah, but fucking like fuck, I totally lost my train of thought. What were we talking about for this? We're talking about UFOs.
Yeah, we went on to
no, like these motherfuckers, like they're for the fucking like betterment of fucking society, but like they're doing shit where it's like fucking like we're gonna make like the fucking bell with the Nazi fucking Operation Paperclip fucking bringing over fucking like bell shit, and like the fucking like B2, the F-117, that kind of fucking shit, where it's like we are not talking about what we're doing, because if we talk about what we're doing, we're on the internet, the enemy's gonna fucking find out we're doing this for Mother Russia.
So I mean, yeah, and like so the whole NFT thing is like, so like right now you got kids making hundreds of thousands of dollars trading like skins on Fortnite when like your skin is like your gear.
Yeah.
Well,
no, and they'll make like whole shit where it's like, okay, so this is a guy, right? But we're gonna like give you some code to make it like a banana with a fucking M16,
So like you got these people launching that stuff. You're gonna eventually see it where the Omniverse is going to be worth 4 times worth of the whole world economy, and like these skins and like NFTs, like that's where NFTs are going to go eventually. Is like there's a video game and say there's artwork within the video games. Like you can publish the artwork, and if they accept it, they're going to honor the contract, and you own that artwork in perpetuity. So like, and that's where like NFTs are going. So. But yeah, at the end of the day, like the best advice I can give to people is like love your neighbor, like try to understand, your fellow American,
and because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum are, as long as you're both Americans. That's what matters.
Yeah, no,
I'll be ethnocentric on this, and I'll be unapologetic for it.
Yeah, and like that, at the end of the day, like we are all Americans, no matter your color, your skin, your religion, your sexual orientation, your creed, what have you. We are all Americans, and I just hope, like, the number one thing I can't emphasize enough is like show common respect for your fellow man, because
Dude,
like,
that was another fucking thing. You'll identify because this is our group chat. Like, for you all watching at home, we have this buddy Dan. He's a stand-up comic and fucking well in Erie, but like he's from like New York, fucking like Minnesota, fucking like just rocking this fucking shit. But he's like, hey, I got some shit to tell you, and we're like, what's up, man? Fucking, you going through some shit? Like, what's going on? He's like, I think I'm pansexual, and we're like, cool,
yeah, like,
okay.
I hope you didn't feel like you had to like not tell us.
Yeah, like,
or you ever were like worried about trying to tell us, because like
I don't give a fuck what you're putting your dick in. We were just happy to just get this dick wet. You know?
Exactly. And at the end of the day, like, you just gotta like, no matter what there's always going to be common ground.
Yeah, and then also before he was a stand-up, like I met this guy in Afghanistan. He was a fucking artillery dude. Fucking like this dude slayed.
Yeah,
slayed.
And so like at the end of the day, like here's like if are we wrapping this thing up?
In the next few minutes.
Okay, so yeah, like the best advice I can give is like, don't let the media like hype you into bullshit, because like at the end of the day, we are Americans. We're gonna find common ground, whether you're pro-vax or anti-vax, whether you're Democrat, Republican,
whether you're CNN or Fox News,
exactly.
Both of which are fake, by the way. I'll die on that fucking hill.
100%. Totally agree.
Like, listen, you can say all the fucking bullshit you want about Donald Trump. Like, what he did say that was accurate was fake news. Everything you watch on TV is fake news. Sorry, not
unless
sorry.
Unless it's that little fucking like bar at the bottom that's like scrolling. That's
here's what the stock market's doing.
Yeah, or here's what the stock market is, or they like go into like different little news segments.
But whatever Rachel Maddow or fucking Tucker Carlson selling you is bullshit.
Yeah,
like both of them fucking absolute horse. Like hay in the dung, bullshit.
So just like trying to find middle, like the best thing I can tell people is this: find common ground with your fellow man. Try to support one another, and that. Number two, realize no one is here to fucking save you. Like there's
no, you have to save yourself.
You have to literally save yourself. You have to be self-reliant, because we are 33 years old, 34 years old. There's no, and there's no social security for us. There's so like, and there's a pension crisis.
Buy a gun, buy enough ammo to where when you're fucking like retired, you can go fucking hunt your fucking meat.
Yeah.
And then rice and potatoes are cheap.
And so you have that whole aspect. Like you have to understand, like no one is here to save you. There's a pension crisis in this country. There's all kinds of crazy shit going on. Figure out ways that you can add value, and figure out how you can add value first, and then find a way to 10x that. Find a way how to put yourself in rooms and things like that. Because again, at the end of the day, you can't rely on pension. You can't rely on Social Security. The government's not going to be here. Nothing. So if you can figure out self-reliance, you're going to be in a better place. And at the end of the day, wrapping this kind of thing up, that's what I would say is like, don't try to like get wrapped up in the political bullshit, because it's always going to be
well there's a couple things that add to that. With that, everyone likes to think that like you want to go into a fair fight, right? Like if you walk into a fair fight, you lost.
Yeah.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
100%.
Scam as much as you fucking can. And I don't mean that like, fucking your friends over or anything, but like, fucking like there's a million ways to fucking scam the fucking government and fucking get your shit back. And do it, because like they don't give a fuck about you. Fucking don't give a fuck about them in fucking return.
And even if you're and I'll even add to that point, like even if you're working in a cubicle, like you could be sitting in a cubicle and you could have a pretty good money, a well-paying job that's giving you, comforts. But if that job is holding you down and bogging you down, like figure out a way that you can add value to somebody and work for yourself.
Yeah.
Like these corporations, like, trust me when I say this, you will be dead. And before your obituary is literally published in the paper, that job opening that you worked at
It'll be
is
filled.
it's going to be
You'll
open or
drop
filled.
dead the next fucking day. They'll have somebody fucking replacing you.
Or they're going to be posting it.
Yeah.
The next day without fail. So at the end of the day,
Do what's good for you.
Do what's good for you.
Do what's good for you. Do what's good for you. Do what's good for your family.
Yep. And if you can find a way that you can add value and make a business out of that.
The only person you should give a fuck anywhere near as much as yourself is your husband or your fucking wife.
Yep.
Or whatever the fuck the they them thing is. Like, I'm not trying to be exclusive, but
yeah.
You know.
Exactly. You know, like at the end of the day, like my wife literally, when I first formed my business, she literally saw me work 100-hour work weeks and didn't ever question it. Like she knew from day one. I told her, I said, if you're marrying me, I'm going to make sure you're taken care of for the rest of your life. That is my duty to you.
Yeah.
As a man, like I feel that way, and however way you feel, that's fine. That's up to you. But like I told her, like I'm going to get to a certain point in life, and it's that, and she's been supportive of that dream.
Yeah.
She's been able to provide me things to help focus my mindset as far as reading material, as far as giving me tools to help me get more organized.
Yeah, no, like that's like my thing is like your priority should be you unless you get married, and marriage is a completely different thing. But if you get married, your priority should be your spouse. You come too.
Yep.
But still, at that point, like it's either you, everything else, or your spouse, you, and then every fucking thing else. Like fucking, there should be a huge gap in your priority list between you and your family and whatever fucking other dumb bullshit there fucking is.
Yeah. And like I said, no one's coming to save you. At the end of the day, the only reason why I haven't left corporate America is because, like you were, to your point, like, hey, my job in corporate America.
That's where the food is.
It puts the food on the table, and like, I don't have to worry about my bills.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks, I know I'm getting X amount, and I can live very comfortably on that amount. And having said that, is like, do I want to? I'm stressed out in my job. Do I want to quit? Of course. Like, I would love to quit and go full blown into the entrepreneurial journey. At the end of the day, though, I have loved ones. I have people that depend on me, and like, I can't necessarily just like drop the whim, burn the ships, as they say, and go full time in the So, if you're stuck in a job and you're miserable, that's one thing. But if it's like providing the comforts that you need for your loved ones, whether that be a wife, whether that be children, whether that be a parent, that what have you, you have to bite that bullet and swallow that pride.
As the greatest American who ever lived, Hank Hill, said, part of being a man is doing a lot of shit you don't want to fucking do.
100%. And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. All right. Well, adios.